Good morning. You're watching Newsbeat.
Here's a look at what we're working on today. Residents are slowly returning to towns that were hit by Hurricane Michael. We got the latest on the cleanup and rescue efforts. Plus,
an update on how the U.S. is dealing with the disappearance of journalist Jamal Khashoggi.
And the guilty verdict that stunned Chicago. A look at the Jason Van Dyke trial. Newsbeat starts right now. Newsbeat's Anupika Correa was at the courthouse for the guilty verdict. Anupika?
Yes, guys, the supporters of murdered teen Laquan McDonald hugged and cheered loudly as the verdict was announced. Inside, stunned members of Van Dyke's family and the head of Fraternal Order of Police. The historic verdict was watched around Chicago and around the country. The crowd gathered outside the criminal courthouse on 26th and California burst into cheering as Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke was convicted for murdering 17-year-old Laquan McDonald. The officer was taken into custody right after the verdict was announced. Jason Van Dyke was found guilty on second-degree murder charges along with 16 aggravated battery shots. The protesters gathered outside the criminal court said the fight against police brutality is not over yet. In fact, they all decided to do more demonstrations around the city. Van Dyke's case ignited protests throughout the city when a police dashcam video of the shooting was released 13 months later after the incident occurred in 2014. The video contradicted the police reports which said that McDonald attacked Van Dyke with a 3-inch blade knife, but the video shows that within seconds of arriving, Van Dyke fatally shoots McDonald 16 times. Some activists are now questioning the city council members and Mayor Rahm Emanuel for ignoring the evidence against Van Dyke. Today, Van Dyke sits in the Rock County Jail, far from Chicago, while his lawyers say they are planning an appeal. Meantime, a GoFundMe page for Van Dyke's family was set up. Last checked about an hour ago, nearly $60,000 has been raised in just 8 days. This has been a very polarizing case and the one that racially divided the city.
Wow, $60,000?
Yeah, the GoFundMe page was started by one of the lawyers, Van Dyke's lawyers, and it was basically set up for Van Dyke's family and his daughters.
Well, I mean, the trial might be over, but the effects of this case are going to be felt for a long time.
Yeah,
definitely.
Thanks, Anupika.
Thank you.
The sweet sound of music is back at the Lyric Opera of Chicago. After 5 days of striking, the opera and the union representing its orchestra musicians reached a new contract. The agreement reduces the main opera season from 24 weeks to 22 and downsizes the number of musicians from 74 to 70.
Luck ran out for an accused serial bank robber from Barrington. The FBI says Eric Dill robbed a BMO Harris Bank in Carpentersville last week. He then tried to set up a wire transfer at a bank in Barrington. The problem was the stolen cash from BMO contained bait bills, meaning the bank had serial numbers on file. He was then arrested and charged. Police believe Dill also hit a bank in Hanover Park earlier that day and one in Barrington last month.
A group of women accused of snatching pricey purses from the Christian Dior store in the Gold Coast have been arrested. That's according to police. Police say the 2 guys on the left were the getaway drivers. The women on the far right and 3 other women grabbed the purses from the high-end designer store on Rush Street. Police caught up with the suspects a few blocks away when they were taken into custody after detectives found out that the bags were being sold online.
Still to come on Newsbeat, Sunday football meant a trip to Miami for the Bears. The offense got a late start against the Dolphins, but still put on an impressive show. Hear from quarterback Mitch Trubisky about what got their halftime rally going. Right now, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is in Saudi Arabia to meet with the Crown Prince over the disappearance of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. The issue has caused concern among the political community. Now the Saudis are preparing a report that will acknowledge Khashoggi's death to be the result of an interrogation that went wrong. The Washington Post columnist was last seen in public when he entered the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, Turkey on October 2nd. The case is also causing tensions between Saudi Arabia and Turkey.
The world's leading climate scientists have warned that there is only 12 years left to halt climate change. The statement comes from a UN report commissioned following the United States' withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement. Experts say if current trends continue, there's a strong risk of crisis as soon as 2040. If the damage is not slowed dramatically, populations may be affected by irreversible droughts, flooding, extreme heat, and poverty.
The devastating duo struck an elementary school in North Sumatra. Rescuers pulled the bodies of 11 children from the mud and rubble. Villagers and rescuers were able to save 17 other children and several teachers. Officials from the region have declared a week-long emergency relief effort for both North and West Sumatra provinces. If you recall, this comes a few weeks after the devastating earthquake and tsunami that killed at least 2,000 people on the island of Sulawesi last week. Coming up, recovery will take years and years. Hurricane Michael devastates Florida's panhandle.
A week after the catastrophic hurricane passes, we take a look at Michael's aftermath and how many residents are coping after losing everything. Next.
Nearly a week after Hurricane Michael devastated the Florida panhandle, rescuers are going door to door looking for survivors. Michael made landfall as a Category 4, making it the strongest hurricane to ever hit that area. Last count, 18 people confirmed dead and dozens are missing. As you can see from the aerial view, Michael has flattened homes, businesses, and knocked out power to hundreds of thousands of customers. This week, the President and First Lady visited the area. Experts warn that recovery may take years and damage estimates are in the billions. Danielle, whatever happened to fall? I think we skipped the season for some reason.
Seriously, I couldn't agree more. When I left home this morning, I could see my breath. Will it warm up? Here's Scott Johnson with the forecast. Scott?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, fall has slapped us in the face. We did start off with a little bit of a frost warning this morning, but it is going to warm up a little bit today. We are going to get a high of 56, and it will be sunny today, which is good. Also, winds will be around 18 to 21 miles per hour, so it is going to be a little bit breezy today. And then for our area map, it is going to be about 56, 55 degrees all throughout Chicagoland area. Up in Waukegan, you can see it's going to be 55, along with out west. Midway, Chicago, it's all going to be fairly the same, so it's going to be comfortable, but that cold wind will kick in, and it will make it feel a little bit colder than it actually is. And then for our tonight's forecast, it is going to be on the cooler side again. It's going to be 38 degrees with a high, so just over the freezing level, but it's still going to be partly cloudy, and it's still also the winds are going to be here at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then we look also at our 5-day forecast. Tomorrow it's going to be partly cloudy. It is going to be 49 degrees with a low of 36. Thursday, though, looks very nice. It's going to be nice and sunny and 54 degrees, so it's going to be a little bit warmer. The low is going to be 41. But Friday, you might want to pack an umbrella. It's going to be about 55 degrees and a chance of rain throughout the whole entire day. Not much, but it is going to be enough to get wet. And the low for that day is going to be 44. And then on Saturday, it looks like it's going to be very windy again, but it's going to still stick around 49 degrees. It's going to be a low of 37, but Sunday, it does look like a great day for the Chicago Bears game. It's going to be about 47 degrees, and the low is going to be in the mid to lower 30s, but overall, it should be a great day.
That's exciting. Finally a great day and hopefully a great Bears game too.
Yeah, hopefully they can win against the Patriots.
Yeah, we'll see. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Coming up on Newsbeat, we'll take a look at sports. As Bulls fans gear up for the upcoming season opener, the Blackhawks and Bears seasons are in full swing.
It was a wild game for the Monsters of the Midway. The ups and downs were epic. It's a game that people are still talking about. We'll show you the highlights and break down the coverage. That story and more after the break. It's time to get after it. Danielle, you checked out all of the big games over the weekend. What's up with the Bears and the Hawks?
Well, the Bears and Blackhawks are back in business, and you could say they're both looking good, all things considered. The Blackhawks are off to a strong start. After 4 overtime games, they stood at 2-2, heading into another game against the St. Louis Blues. The Blackhawks struck first off the hands of Artem Anisimov for his first goal of the season. And minutes later, Patrick Kane found a gap to send this power play goal in. Blackhawks lead 2-0 after the first. But the Blues came back playing a new tune, putting up 3 goals to take the lead. But Alex DeBrincat sneaks one top shelf to tie it. That will take this one to overtime. And DeBrincat wasn't done playing hero. Seconds to go in overtime, he's posted up for the pass and he sneaks it in for the goal and the win. Blackhawks take it 4-3 and become the first team in NHL history to start a season with 5 straight overtime games. Meanwhile, on the gridiron, the Bears looking to continue their 3-game winning streak in Miami, facing off against the Dolphins. Mitch Trubisky didn't quite have his stuff until the third quarter. Trailing 7-0, Trubisky with a short pass to Trey Burton, he dives into the end zone, game tied at 7 apiece. Bears back in the red zone following a Kyle Fuller interception. Allen Robinson makes the end zone grab for the touchdown, making it look easy now. Bears lead 14-7. Later in the third, how about this run from Tariq Cohen? No one can catch this man. Speeding 21 yards into the end zone. Bears take a commanding lead 21-10, but it doesn't stick. With 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, Brock Osweiler finds Albert Wilson for the pass, and he begins shredding the Bears defense, tearing it up for a 75-yard touchdown. Game is tied at 28. We're going to overtime. The Dolphins, with their chance to take the win, 3rd and goal on the 1-yard line. Kenyon Drake goes into the end zone without the football. Ball is recovered by the Bears, and it's going the other way. That's a play you'll want to forget. But lucky for Drake, the Bears can't make anything out of it. And the Dolphins seal it with a 47-yard field goal. Bears fall 31-28. Here's what Trubisky had to say about the Bears' offensive push after halftime.
Just all 11 guys getting on the same page and having that that hungry attitude that we can't go out there and be stopped. So I feel like a lot of the time in the first half we were stopping ourselves. They weren't stopping us. But you got to give a lot of credit to that defense for playing how they did, which we do. Got a lot of respect for them. But it was just a mindset.
And real quick, nearly 85,000 Londoners took to Wembley Stadium on Sunday for a taste of American football. The attendance set a record high for the annual international series as the Raiders got the beat down from the Seahawks 27-3. Meanwhile, the Brewers shut out the Dodgers Monday night to take a 2-1 lead in their series. And while the Red Sox and Astros play Game 3 tonight in their tied series. And basketball is back. The NBA regular season kicks off tonight. The Bulls start their season Thursday against the 76ers and take on the Pistons Saturday at home.
Thanks, Danielle. And thank you for tuning in to Newsbeat. I'm Simone Malcolm.
And I'm Danielle Deasley. For Scott Johnson and weather, and from all of us here, have a great day.